Welcome to the Shut Up and Work podcast. I am your wonderful host, the coach, and today I have another manager story. And this story is called Tiny Terrible Tim.
Son of a bitch.
Now, Tiny Terrible Tim was the superintendent of the job that I worked when I first got hired in civil service of the HVAC shop. And if you didn't listen to the previous story of Reluctant Roger, go back and listen to that story and then come back and listen to this story because there might be a little bit of relation and I don't want you guys lost. Anyway, on to the story. Tiny Terrible Tim, he was an older white gentleman at that time, was maybe around his mid to late 50s, early 60s, possibly. And he stood about 5'3". I am not joking with y'all. I cannot make this up. And he looked just like, here comes another reference from King of the Hill, Hank Hill's father.
I got very mad.
And I don't remember his father's name. Maybe it was Tex or something like that. Anyway, the only difference is Tiny Tim wore glasses. And that's basically how he looked. I'm not making this up. Anyway, as I alluded to in the previous video story with Reluctant Roger, Tiny Tim was the shot caller. He was the superintendent of the HVAC shop that I was first working in, and he made all the decisions. He set the rules, the procedures, the boundaries, and everything else. And he used Roger as his little bumping shield or puppet to disseminate the information out to everybody and let Roger receive all the backlash and the pushback from the employees. For the most part, I'm going to be honest with you. When I first met him, he came up and he told me,
Where are you from?
and I told him what town I was from here in the state of Texas. And he turned around and said,
Oh, yeah. Me and my buddies used to go up there honky-tonking and eating fried chicken.
and I thought, damn, what an impression that this guy would say that. And to his credit, I'm sure he was racist. There was no doubt in my mind. But at the same time, he was biting his tongue. And he would always make this expressional noise. I told you about Reluctant Roger's expressional noise where he would go, ooh, chingao. Well, Tiny Tim also had an expression in which he would go,
Son of a bitch.
no matter whatever the case was. That's what he would do. Tim, the building's on fire. Son of a bitch. Tim, we need to evacuate the base.
Son of a bitch.
Tim, there's $1 million right inside the shop. You need to go look and collect it.
Son of a bitch.
That was his expression at all times. Now, as I was saying, I didn't really have any problems with him racially. He made Roger do all the dirty work, as I just mentioned before. But one of the things where we did kind of bump heads is he was basically the one that found out that I had all this background knowledge coming from active duty Air Force of running the preventive maintenance program, setting up the hazmat programs and things in that nature. So it was his idea, not Reluctant Roger, to put me in charge of those programs. Now, the first year when I did those programs, I did everything. We passed our inspections with flying colors. I fixed the preventive maintenance programs where we had selective hours that we would do preventive maintenance on certain buildings throughout the base, and everything was flowing smooth. But where the problem came is, and the headbutting came in, was when the end of the year, when my evaluation came up, it was good, but I would say it could have been better. And one of the reasons it could have been better is that he did not include all those extra duties that I was doing on top of my main priority job, which was being an HVAC mechanic or technician, whichever you want to choose. He left out all the things which I was doing, which was running the preventive maintenance program and the hazmat program. So that's where me and Tiny Tim started having these headbutts. So basically, to sum it up, what I told him the following year, I said, look, go find somebody else to run this program. I don't want to do it anymore because you did not reflect my shining points on my evaluation, and my evaluation should have been higher. Well, anyway, he came back, he apologized, and he told me,
well, if you do it for me again this year and we pass the inspection again, I'll make sure that it's put on your evaluation.
And just real quick, as I said before, the evaluation that I had gotten, it was good, but I didn't get all the perks and it didn't list all the things that I was doing extrally. So the following year, I did those other two duties, the preventive maintenance program and the hazmat program, and I ended up getting a better evaluation. And by this time, stuff started happening. And what I mean by stuff, well, after me and him had that talk and everything moved on, Mr. Brooks, I didn't know at the time, was in some hot water because of his past and how he dealt with people. And come to find out, he had a bunch of complaints, a bunch of write-ups of him being racist towards former employees and things in this nature by the union that was representing the workers, the employees in our shop. And apparently someone had just complained on him.
It was not me.
And that was the last straw that broke the camel's back. And basically they gave him the ultimatum that, hey, you need to retire or we're going to fire you. And of course, he chose the first option, to retire. Also with that, right around that same time, I was being promoted and moved out of the HVAC shop and moving over to the civil engineering department. So we were both like leaving the shop at the same time in this situation. That was pretty much it with Mr. Brooks and my dealings with him. Yes, he was there for most of the 2 years I was in the shop, but at the same time, when I was leaving, he was leaving. And we only had that one headbutt that had to deal with my evaluation. With that being said, the moral to the story here was that even though Mr. Brooks was racist and he tried to mask it as much as he was, I think he was basically on his way out the door when I was hired on and I came in. And that's probably why he picked me as a black guy coming into the shop. And again, I'm referring this to the previous story that I told with Reluctant Rock. Therefore, he was probably trying to clean up his image and probably trying to show upper management,
Hey, look, I'm not as racist. I got a black guy that I hired.
that was the type of thing that was going on with him. Anyway, with that being said, y'all know what to do. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to y'all on the next episode. Take care. Peace. Thanks for watching. And also, if you are having trouble or are currently working in a toxic workplace, then look no further than my book. It's available on Amazon, called Shut Up and Work, Surviving Then Escaping the Workplace. Other than that, have a great day. Take care. Peace.